Oh, yeah.
Whoa!
Wow.
Whoa!
Wow.
37 years ago, which put a spell on me.
Hi, guys.
I gotta say, man. I feel born again. I don't know about you
I
guys.
feel
Yeah.
because the bull rammed me up my ass when I was 5 years old, and it really
Speaking
hurt.
of ramming up the ass, we're joined by two solid people right here.
Two
We got
solid homos.
Top Super Kicker. Give us a shout, boy.
And top.
Hello,
Yeah,
White
my favorite
Payton.
town.
It's nice to see you again.
And we're also joined by the great Cherry from Daredevil, Born Again. Melee Help.
When I was black.
I didn't know he had
I
a
agree.
choice. That's crazy.
That's crazy.
When I was a boy,
New
I was
York is
gifted the sacred Ulafala.
New
by my
York
father.
is a crazy place. Fucking
Yeah, man.
crazy.
It's
I am
wild.
seed red everywhere.
Dude,
Mostly
look
in
what my lore
hats.
was, dog.
It's actually
That's
insane.
what
Right.
you want,
First
yeah.
of all, first order of business. No yeet. Right? Second of order of business.
Yeah.
Daredevil Born Again. To sum up very quickly, and then we'll dive deep. My one-word analogy of the day, my one-sentence analogy of the day, even Daredevil Born Again is like dragging a bag of pancakes up a mountain, but then you get to the top of the mountain and you eat them, and they're the best fucking pancakes you've ever eaten. That's how I can describe this show.
Why would you drag pancakes up a mountain?
You spend the first few episodes dragging pancakes, and then episode 8 and 9 you eat those fucking pancakes.
You
You're
get
like,
to the
"Oh,
top and find they've got like maple
Oh.
syrup and butter and like
Dude.
chocolate chips and shit.
What
I-
mountain are you guys on?
Darby Allen.
absolutely smothered it."
Okay,
Anyway,
look, if I'm being
let's
honest,
get into the
I
nitty
think-
gritty because this
Okay.
is the best show in a very long time for the MCU.
Folks, don't misread. It says no yeet, but it doesn't say no spoilers. So if you've not
Okay, so
finished
before these guys
Daredevil
interrupt me
Born
one
Again-
more time, I'm gonna say something real quick. I would take this.
Cherry
analogy
dies!
as-
Cherry dies!
No. The analogy that I would give this show is, remember the Ultimatum episode of Regular Show where they're trying to have the burgers and they
Yes.
keep getting fucked up, and then they finally defeat like their holograms, and then Benson eats the burgers. That's
Yes,
what
yes.
Daredevil Morgan was like. It's like,
That's
oh, we're getting there, and then it's just like, okay.
Did you just spoil regular show for me?
Sorry, man.
That would be
Anyway,
crazy.
Kind of fucked up.
yeah,
it's like you should be more considerate.
I thought the show was pretty good though.
That's
it.
the whole show. Yeah.
Thank you for joining us, folks. Have a good
Yeah,
night.
thanks for watching. Tippy waiters, alligators, very chronic masturbators.
Before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody that this podcast is available on all audio platforms, and if you're watching on the YouTube, you get an exclusive highlight. As you can see above Donut Cast's cam right now, the elusive Kingpin, Daredevil, Iron Man matchup. We are settling the score
I
while we wait for
just
season 2, only on YouTube. So,
It's
right there.
It's going at 4 frames per second.
if you want to see this,
This
We're
is
using the
spoilers
Nintendo
for
Switch
Born
2.
Again.
we have
This happened in the
illegal
last
Born
episode.
Again
This is the
screenshot.
exclusive Cornell fucking presentation. Switch 2 gameplay.
Powered by the Switch 2.
Here it is, baby.
Oh my god,
Oh, they're
they're
at
locking up.
the races. Oh, Laureate!
Oh my God, he
So,
All right, anyway.
Reminder, you can
Let's-
only
yeah,
hear
let's
this
talk, let's
on the
talk.
YouTube.
You can only see that then on the YouTube, so just watch the YouTube feed, folks. Also, really quick, we should get the plugs out of the way, I think, before we get into the nitty-gritty.
We don't plug on these. We don't plug
Well,
on
that's
these.
too bad. I'm going to anyway. www.goonsquadpw.
Anyway. So
Anyway, anyways, we will be plugging and plugging later on.
I can't
just not
believe
gonna
this shit.
I'm just
I'm not gonna fucking screen share because my computer's gonna blow up.
I was gonna say, man, that shit is bad.
All right,
Anyway,
there we go.
Yeah, guys,
Sorry about your bit.
GoonSquadPW.com. What can people do over there, Simon? Oh, yes, you can actually buy very cool things. Very cool things.
So for
on
the for those that can't hear right now or can't see, like you're Matt Murdock, you'd have to go to the YouTube to see right now that Simon's
my
currently
God, I'm
muted.
so
and
sorry.
you
You know
also
what?
have
I muted
handshakers.
myself
I muted myself.
I'm
on
so
your
sorry
podcast.
if you're here to actually hear us talk about Daredevil. This is gonna be a very chaotic episode.
There's 5 of us.
Okay,
We barely made
so
3.
first impressions, right? Because we need to make this very clear. Simon was put through an entire watch through of the original Daredevil TV series, which
By
is
these
arguably
three people right here, the real Trinity.
shut the fuck up. Arguably one of the best shows ever made, right?
Not arguably, it is one
It
of the
is.
best.
Yeah?
One of the
Okay.
best shows
Yeah.
ever made. Truly. Just
But here's the thing. Simon finished season 3 days before we watched Born Again.
No, not
Yeah,
the
so
days.
can I
The day
explain
before
this?
Born Again.
Sure.
Can I explain this, please? So essentially, Simon was very excited for Born Again, as most of us were. And in preparation for Born Again specifically, Simon wanted to watch the Daredevil show, which we had tried to convince him before, and this son of a bitch never wanted to watch it. But he finally caved in at the start of the year. So it was me, Wyatt Payton here, the bad and the good, as well as our good friend Ziggle. We all got together, and Melee joined us in later, Cash joined us in later, and we essentially binged all of Daredevil across a couple of months. And the day Born Again released, it released that night, we were talking like early midnight essentially. We did a 5-episode stretch for those last episodes, which was the craziest string of episodes to watch in a row.
Dying at
To
this
finish
spot.
season 3, it was incredible. I remember Simon being floored at many moments during our watch along. And then the same day we watched Born Again episode 1, which was, well,
Hey, Karen.
I'm sure Simon will share. Tell all.
Oh.
It
So
was a
here's
very
the
weird
thing.
episode, wasn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, Wyatt has been yelling at me specifically because I've known Wyatt the longest here out of everybody. Wyatt's been yelling at me to watch Daredevil since I met him. I met him in like 2018, and I gotta say,
that's
man,
rough.
when a show gets hyped up for you that much for like 6-7 years, I'm no selling your bits. When a show gets hyped up for 6-7 years, and then it actually delivers, it hits different, right? And Daredevil season 1 I think is incredible. Season 2 I also think is very good, although the second half kind of fumbles the bag a bit with some of the pacing. I didn't watch Defenders.
The Defenders!
No, stop. Gay Daredevil
that
Born Again.
2.5 minute recap video we watched of Defenders.
I got everything I needed from the Defenders with that, and I didn't sit through any more of that.
Shouts out that guy. I'm gonna find out what his channel is.
Thank God.
Funniest moment of all time when Simon's watching the Defenders recap and he's like, "Wait, Stick's dead now?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Come on.
So fucking sad. And then Daredevil season 3 is one of the greatest seasons of television I've ever watched in my life. So there's that as well.
Fantastic.
Yep. Specifically, shouts out to I can't remember the name of the episode where Daredevil and Bullseye scrap in the church. And that's
the Karen episode.
That is the Karen episode. I couldn't remember if they were two different
That
episodes.
is, yep. That
They
is one of
scrap
the
at the
best
very end of the
episodes
Karen
ever
episode.
made.
That builds up to Karen making you think Bullseye's going to kill Karen,
And
which
then
you
it's
unfortunately had the foresight of, knowing she lives. But yeah, in that moment, people that know the comics, even if you don't know the comics, you see an episode dedicated to Karen, and you're like, okay,
Yep.
she's down.
And I love the supporting
incredible.
cast. It'd be a shame if they weren't in a majority of the show. Am I right, folks?
Mm-hmm.
I'll let other people go on episode 1.
Cherry wasn't Born Again.
So,
Let's just get this out of the way, okay? That fight scene. That one take fight scene, by the way. One take. Yeah, sure, buddy. You fucking
Thanks,
can't fucking fool me with your green screen hallways and your
hey
fucking...
guys, we're gonna cut to this wall for a second. Don't worry about why, but we're just.
Bro, your entire warehouse is lit up by one candle in the corner. What's going on?
Turn on a motherfucking
Turn on
light
the
or something?
fucking
Why is it
lights,
so
man.
dark in
Oh,
here?
man,
Jesus
dude.
Christ.
Jesus. What are we doing?
I'll say this, man. First off, I've talked about Daredevil quite a bit on the show. You already know how I feel about Daredevil. Look at my fucking shirt, for fuck's sake. I love this fucking show. I love this character. It's my favorite character, probably besides Spider-Man. This first episode, man. And goddamn, man. I here's the thing. It starts and I'm like, okay. And then I notice immediately, and I mean immediately, the dialogue, and I'm like,
It's the fucking Wyatt, let's have a conversation
oh
from
wow!
the show.
Did you hear
right?
about? Yeah, okay.
Yes,
Hey,
I did
you
hear about that.
Cherry. Wow.
Yeah, Cherry
He's
died.
crazy.
Wow, incredible.
He's retiring. Isn't that
I
insane?
can't believe he's retiring.
Anyway,
That's insane.
Wow, White Tiger's a thing. Isn't that insane?
Dude,
to
White
you? Also,
Tiger,
the
whitest tiger I've ever seen, man. Wow.
Oh man, that Foggy guy, he's acting weird lately. I don't know what's going on with him. Anyway, oh hey, I got, and then he gets shot.
It's like you're playing, you know, in My Rise when you go through dialogue and they fucking skip the dialogue and it's like they're mid sentence. It's like it's so instant. It's like, did you go to the shop? I bought a loaf of bread. Did you buy the drink? I bought the drink. Did you buy the bread? I bought the drink and the bread. It's like come on, man.
When you reports of how streamers are trying to make dialogue for shows that appeases to kids who sit on their fucking phones for the entire thing, you believe it. Watching I'd say the first two, mainly the first two episodes of Born Again are the most egregious in this. I think it does slowly, incrementally get better as the episodes go further and further. By the end, it's not a factor at all, thankfully.
And as we know, this show is a Frankenschronk. It is two entirely different visions for the show, blended together because they got to meet deadlines. So,
yep, the show's announced in late 2021.
They said, "Don't worry,
just scrapped
guys,
everything.
we're bringing
Finished last
everyone
year.
back." And then everyone realized,
That's how you know
oh
it's
dear, they have like a year to do everything. So
yeah, that first episode was
Yep.
not very hot. Killing off Foggy was certainly a choice.
It's a
Or
choice.
the
The actors don't even agree with it. The actors don't agree with, like, Charlie
Yep.
Cox has said, I don't think this is the right choice, but whatever gets us fucking back, you know? It's like, that kind of sucks to hear,
I
man.
still think, like, even though the show gets better, I don't think the show ever justifies the choice to kill Foggy. He's the best. He's my favorite character in the entire series. I love him. He's such
Wasn't
a
it nuts
Queer.
how in season 3 he literally has like his almost like his final arc, like everything about him just comes full circle in that one season.
It's beautiful. And then they were like, but like, what if he just was a lawyer and he just died? Like, what if that happened, right?
We
And
love
then-
you, Odin Henson.
The last thing I'll say about that is the erasure of Marcy as a character is like one of the
Thank
worst
you!
I've ever seen.
Thank you!
That's
I-
like, because that's a character who's really annoying, right? And then she became awesome by the end of the show. And then they were like, that's a really cool character. That like people actually liked. We were clearly setting up Foggy to be married to her, or like at least propose to her at some point. God, why would you do that?
Yep. I understand that the show takes place, like, that scene specifically is like 5 years or so after obviously season 3's ended, and obviously since then, like, all the dumb MCU bullshit happens, like the blip and fucking all that nonsense. But I don't understand how you can bring Foggy back and then immediately just have him chatting up this new character, Kirsten, who by the end of the show we still know fucking nothing about, essentially, and just act like Marcy never existed. It's insulting, and that's the worst part. It's not even inherently bad, it's just so insulting to the character.
To not
It's
even
like,
say
come on.
like, oh, it's a shame it didn't work. Like shame it didn't work out or whatever. Like, don't even know
Give
where
us a
she
cop
is.
shit
She
alive.
could be
At
alive.
least
She could be
acknowledge it.
dead. The show didn't even care. It was really insulting to me. And I
Melee,
couldn't-
Foggy
what
died
do you
and they
have to
never
say about
mention
the
him.
first episode.
As someone who is not woke like the rest of these people, I actually kind of enjoy this for the most
Okay.
part. I'm one
A
of the
black
few
woman is
who
speaking.
listen and learn.
My wife is talking.
I'm one of the few who was aware of all the backstage stuff that was happening with the original stuff and the reshoots. And just from that alone, I had a pretty basic idea of what they were doing. So even if initially some of the stuff may not have hit as well, especially compared to when we watched season 3, which was like the day before with that last stretch, I knew they were trying to do something that was basically impossible because
Oh, they got him.
because what? Melee?
Guys, they got him.
because
It's
There we go.
like
I had blip for a second. The MCU
Yeah,
got
blip. He came back.
no, Marcy!
After 6 years,
basically,
Melee.
basically
back.
Kevin and David Feige, they wanted to
Oh,
reboot
no.
these characters, and it's one of the worst ideas they've ever done. So we got stuff like No Way Home, we got stuff like Echo, we got stuff like some of the sprinkled in Hawkeye and She-Hulk, which to be fair, some of that stuff was actually kind of cool, just for comic book sake, it's kind of cool.
Yes.
But it didn't make sense with the Netflix stuff. And of course, their excuse was going to be, oh, well, it's a reboot. So we might have the same actors, but they're essentially different characters from the Netflix show. And then people realize, you know what?
That's fucking stupid.
We actually like the Netflix stuff. We should bring that.
How do
in,
you
so-
watch that show and say we're
Dude.
not going to bring any of these incredibly compelling characters back whatsoever?
Dude, oh my god.
Who was running this shit, man? Who
Dude,
the fuck?
The worst part is when you watch the first half or even like the first 2/3 of this season of TV, right?
Mhm.
And you see them deliberately make every turn to go, oh yeah, we're completely divorced from the original material. It's not the same thing. It's clear all these
Mhm.
characters are not acting the same. We're gonna remove all the original cast except for Charlie Cox, Vincent D'Onofrio, and I feel horrible. I've forgotten her
Wilson
name.
Bethel. No.
Wilson Bethel and Vanessa. Vanessa
Deborah
as well.
Wall. Oh,
Vanessa.
Well, that's the
Not-
thing.
not-
with Bullseye, he wasn't even supposed to be in the original show. The
which
original
is also
version.
insane. Bullseye, one of the coolest Marvel characters ever. What?
One of the best
Like,
villains they've
So
ever made.
stupid.
Yeah.
And the worst part is where you see them take all that shit out, but then you also realize these people are so fucking creatively bankrupt that they can't think of anything original. So they just go, okay, let's just do Karen again, but nowhere near as interesting. Let's do
Oh,
Foggy again, but
God.
nowhere near as
But-
interesting.
but
Let's do
Black.
Bullseye again, but nowhere near as interesting. And that's where characters like Muse and Cherry and I seriously have forgotten her name again because I think she's such a nothing character. What's her name?
Melissa? I don't know.
I don't
Who?
even remember. His love interest, not Karen.
Oh
Heather,
yeah,
Heather.
yeah.
Heather,
She
yeah.
was
Character
not. She was not
Dude,
it.
Remember when Matt said "I love you" to her, and I'm just like,
He never told
What,
Karen he
3
loved
days?
her. How did you never
We're,
tell Karen you loved her,
we're
but you love
jumping
her?
ahead, but when he wakes up in the hospital and goes, Karen, I'm like, fuck yeah!
Oh, yes, thank you.
Get her out of
How
here.
you feeling?
I will say
So
this:
funny.
they do. Obviously, we're jumping around a little bit here, but just I do like how Matt, at least by the end of the show, admits like, yeah, I haven't been the same person at all. I'm just like, okay, thank God, because he
That's
is not.
the writers. That's the
I'm like,
writers.
thank
talking
God they're
with the
bringing
fucking
this
guy,
back
dude.
to some like prominence,
Mhm.
you know. Like,
the thing,
I don't know,
man.
man. This
You can watch episode 1. I'd say 3 and 4, and the last 2, and that's it. You
Yeah,
can
pretty
you
much.
can completely eliminate half of this season, and nothing changes. It's
Am I
so
wrong in
useless.
saying that like the finale is where episode 1 feels like it should have ended?
That's real as shit, dude. Oh
Yep.
my god, man. Or at least
Because
That's
the
the
stakes
mid-season.
of Fisk being mayor are so much higher in the finale than they are at the end of the first episode. Makes no
They
sense.
don't even address what the implication could be for the whole season. Wilson Fisk is the fucking mayor of New York. This is one of the worst things
should
that could ever
be-
happen.
At DEFCON 8 right now. Like,
Yeah, we're fucked at that point. And then they go, oh, but he's getting cucked. He's sitting in the cuck chair for like a solid like 5 episodes before he actually becomes a threat again. That's what happens.
that was bad.
I will say I did enjoy some of the humor, like the stuff with Wilson going into the school and just sitting there while they're shittily
was-
singing
that was
"We Built the
great. I
City" and
love
shit
it.
like that.
There were some cool
So
stuff.
funny.
I'll admit, the original like vision for the show, there were
Mhm.
points that I was just like, okay, this is cool. I like Fisk not knowing how to do this pretty much. I think
Mhm.
that's interesting for that character.
Mhm.
And also feels very, comic-y as well.
They gave him a lot. They like really
I-
focused on Wilson Fisk this season.
I loved, and I mean this, I love the White Tiger stuff.
Oh,
All
hell
of that.
yeah.
I
That
thought
was very interesting. I really like that.
It ends way too fucking
Yeah,
soon
well,
in
too-
a
too
very
bad.
stupid way.
Bang!
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, a lot of that was out of their control. Given
Exactly.
that the actor
Yeah.
that's not
Which is very
super
upsetting.
fair to judge the show on.
Oh
That's not-
yeah, that is why.
yeah.
Mr. Black.
because the actor-
Oh, that
Cher,
sucks.
what is the lovely actor who plays White Tiger again? Cher, you know the name because you've said it to me multiple times.
Chair isn't
Thank you,
here.
Chair.
He never was
Cher's
here.
playing Belatro. Cher's playing Belatro right now. Fucking
Chair's-
He
he's
is.
on-
He is.
He's on blue
Oh.
stake right now.
Oh, he's
really
trying to
locked in.
unmute. Nothing's working.
Ah, what happened?
Hey, guys, while this intermission's happening, I'm gonna let someone else take the reins here. I'll be right back.
Hell,
Chair.
Yeah, piss break.
Chair.
Chair.
We lost
No.
him.
MCU
All
got
right.
him.
He's
Fuck
deaf.
you.
He's deaf.
My
just like
turn.
Echo.
I'm a bank heist episode defender. All right. I
Kill
don't
him.
want to hear it. Listen to me. This is
Trying to
important.
blow up his balls.
No, it's important you listen to me because this is I like this episode. There is not a hint of Daredevil in his costume in this episode. He puts
Mhm.
like a little mask on the fire at the end. That's it. I love that they're Irish. That's hilarious. The fucking dialogue is better than most other episodes. The stuff with Kamala's dad is actually good. He's actually quite enjoyable. I don't want to hear it. I liked it a lot. There's something about it. I don't know.
Listen,
It was pretty
I'm
fun.
gonna sit here and say I don't think it's. A lot of people said it's like awful or that it's like the worst
No.
episode
Hello?
in the whole show.
Hello.
There he
Hello.
is.
Someone muted me. It said I was like muted or something, but like not on my end. Like an operator had muted me. And then
I,
so no, I was making points. I was making points, and I was like, "Why is no one listening?" I said, "Rest in peace,
why are
Commander
you-
Los Reyes," and no one
Okay, we'll
acknowledged
let
me. And then
you-
Simon was like,
We'll let you go.
Yeah,
We'll let you go. Let you do your thing.
Breathe,
Say it.
child.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna talk. I mentioned like Buck being bootleg Wesley, fucking Brett Mahoney
Oh
being
yeah,
recast.
that's another one I didn't even remember to fucking mention. That
Yeah.
is
Okay, yeah,
Wesley.
but let's get back to the White Tiger stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
so the show being Frankenstein is such an unfortunate thing because you can very easily tell due to the presence of Commander Los Reyes in the early episodes, which I hate using him as that benchmark, but it sucks. But yeah, so he passed away around Christmas of 2023, and that just shows you how sort of fucked up the show is because a lot of the reshoots are from 2024, like the entire year, and then
Yes.
the show was being filmed from like 2022 to 2023. So there's so much there, and it feels so empty in a way. But it's so odd. It's such an odd feeling show. But I will say the White Tiger stuff. The episode 3 might be like my second favorite episode of the whole show, which is crazy
Mhm.
because it's from the pre-shoots. But I think it's tremendous. I think Kamal did an incredible job, and as just a small little contained narrative, I think it does an excellent story, especially with
There's
opening scene with Matt talking to him with was it cookies chirping?
cookies.
I know I
being
don't remember the character's name.
linked
But I know,
to the
I know what
ending.
you're. Yeah, I agree. I actually did like episode 3. That's why I said you can't really because episode 3 and 4 were also the only ones that actually tied into the overarching narrative of Fisk and his war on vigilantes. Like the rest of them, like really didn't. It was really underserved for the plot for the most of it. And if you're not gonna have Matt suit up for a really long time, at least like do something inspired with it. Having a whole episode, pretty much a whole episode, take place inside the courthouse is an inspired decision. That's something that actually really works.
Or like
for
a whole
Daredevil.
episode in a bank.
No, yeah, that is an interesting. I think the courthouse episode was executed better than the bank for the most. I don't think the bank was like the. I'm gonna say it. The worst episode of the show is the first episode because it feels like it's a complete mess. It has no idea if it wants to be a continuation or if it wants to be its own thing. It's paced horribly after the opening. It's super boring. The dialogue is absolutely atrocious. Episode 5 is not that bad. I agree on episode 3 being quite good. Another thing that I will say, consistently great, even though he's only in 2 episodes, I thought everything with the Punisher was fantastic. I really enjoyed everything with Frank. That I don't know how y'all feel about that. I actually really liked everything that Frank did, particularly at the end. And I'm looking forward, without getting too much in the ending yet, I'm looking forward to where that Punisher special presentation thing that they're doing actually plays out, because I think it could be quite fun if it's just 40 minutes of him breaking dudes' arms and shit. That'd be pretty cool. But I like the Punisher stuff. I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think he's perfect.
Melee?
casting for Punisher.
John Bernthal is the Punisher. as well, the
John
best kind of-
Bernthal from Call of Duty Exozombies as John Decker is an incredible
It feels-
casting for
It
Punisher.
feels close to like Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, where
It's
it
up
just
there.
kind of like really
can see that.
fits. Do you know what I mean?
But you know what's crazy? You can say that about everyone in the Daredevil cast. I feel Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin, Charlie Cox as Matt, Wilson Bethel as
Oh.
goddamn Benjamin Poindexter,
One of the best, one of the greatest. I think he's
Alan
great.
Henson as Foggy Nelson was one of my favorites. So I think
I will give to
don't know.
Wilson Bethel the sacred Unifala that I was given by Jamie Chung. I gotta give it to him.
I survived being shot, but Foggy did not.
Yeah. So some of the violence in the show pretty good. It's refreshing to have like proper like body horror in these fight scenes,
Yes.
other than the shitty flip kick Marvel shit that you see all the time. So just stuff like something I really love about Daredevil is that he's just a dude. So when he's in fight scenes,
Mhm.
it's usually him getting more beaten up than the person he's fighting. and you can see him like he's got injuries, he's always bleeding. I'm like, I
he's
love
always
shit like
tired as
that.
fuck, too.
That was
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
my
he-
biggest
he's
worries
fucking
about this show. Was that he wouldn't be fatigued, he wouldn't be exhausted, he wouldn't
Yeah,
be
it wouldn't be like it
beaten
wouldn't be
up.
realistic. He'd just be
Yeah,
a
he
fucking
wouldn't be human.
superhero.
He'd be some sort of like weird invincible
Sort of.
mutant. But I think the show
Devil.
did it very well.
I gotta say this.
I think the
too,
show portrays that as a whole very good.
when you were just talking about the first episode and how it felt like a mess and everything, and I
Yeah.
agree. But like I will say, the idea of like that opening scene, while Matt and Bullseye are fighting, the fact that he's like listening to Foggy's heartbeat the whole time, I think is a very cool idea. And
That's
I like
true.
what
That's
they did
fire.
there. And of course, that part where he just fucking throws him off the building is fucking incredible.
That's
that
my
was
favorite
the
part
best.
of that whole
That is easily
episode.
the
Dex-
best part in the whole show. is
Dex
him falling
pats
off
him on the shoulder while Matt's yelling at him why.
Like, when
It's
he's laughing,
fantastic.
he's got the blood coming out of his mouth, and he's laughing.
It
and
also
Great
looks like,
acting.
it also
taps him on
looks
the
like
shoulder.
Matt's laughing for a minute too.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It's like because especially we see later on that Bullseye is somewhat remorseful as we like fuck me like we see in season 3. He isn't entirely like evil, but like in that one scene you can tell that he does enjoy what he does. He
Oh yeah.
he takes pride in the carnage he causes, and I think it just adds. That's why I love the Bullseye character. I think there's so much depth to him that you don't really get in a lot of MCU projects because usually there's not enough time to develop something like that. But he's had mainly one season of television and like a couple episodes to detail that, but they've all been great for him at
Yeah.
least.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, this,
I think
mm.
they've let. Sorry. I am sorry.
No, go
I
ahead, go ahead.
apologize. I didn't
No,
mean to-
please.
dude, it's gonna happen. There's 5 of us in here. It's gonna happen at least once.
I
It was my
mean-
bad.
But I'm gonna go bananas.
I ain't mean it. I'm sorry.
It's gonna happen.
I'm gonna go bananas. But no. I especially because they left off season 3 with the very big implication that Bullseye was going to be the major antagonist for like the last stretch of the show. I think that was the end.
8 year
I'll be honest with you.
cocktease.
Yeah, I'll be honest, man. I don't hate the idea of I don't hate Foggy dying inherently. I don't reject the idea
Me neither.
entirely.
I do.
The problem is that I've waited.
It's how it was done.
This isn't necessarily the show's fault. I know, but I waited. People waited.
I waited
just
a
watched
long
3 seasons.
fucking time.
People
bro.
waited
Yeah,
7
we've
years
been
for this
waiting.
shit to come back, and the first thing you do is take away one of the best characters in the entire show in a way that
Yep.
feels incredibly rushed.
Well, it's
Very
a strong
sudden.
statement made by
Yeah,
the
but
Well,
company.
here's the worst part. It does it for purely. I said this at the start, at the end of episode 1. As we all watch this together, so I mean we can all test to this. You know, me and Simon are very much like they just did this at the shock value, and they haven't commented on it. They do a 1 year time skip, and it's so rarely touched upon. And even still, the Foggy stuff. I mean, towards the end, they list bringing it up with Vanessa ordering the hit. Spoilers.
I was gonna say like
but
70% of
it's
what I
still-
want to talk about is in that finale, so I'll wait.
But it still doesn't feel like the weight of it wasn't felt. It's one of my biggest gripes with Endgame is where we suffer this big loss, we do a time skip, and we don't see anyone grieve. Especially in the sense of Daredevil as well, where it's such an intimate thing. It's Matt losing his best friend, the closest person in his life, and we don't see him grieve properly, at least. And it's
4 episodes. It's like episode 4.
Yeah.
He does the face from Little Big Planet, like.
Yeah.
And then
we
it
just get these
Yeah.
Frankenstein shit where they show him holding the horn from the end of
One of
his fight
our-
with Bullseye. That's it.
Our good friend of the show, Mr. Star Wars Facts guy, was saying to us one day in the call. He said he was saying like, you know, it's the same exact thing I felt with Force Awakens. It's like, why can't we have these characters live in this world where they are fine for a little bit? You know, why can't we just have just one episode? One episode. That's all.
And this is like we're coming off of season 3, which was like the one of the darkest, most
One of the
intense
bleakest,
seasons of
like
TV.
upsetting seasons of TV ever.
There's so much evil shit that happens in that, dude. Like we can't even remark upon another thing.
Off.
Cass, you mentioned the finale, right? Cass?
Of this show.
How is Ray Nadeem not mentioned once until
He
the
is.
finale?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Until the finale.
How
yeah.
is he not
Yeah.
mentioned? Is he mentioned before that and I just
Nope.
forgot?
No.
Nope.
Like it's ridiculous. And
I'm sorry.
that's
Every
just-
time I think of that, I just think of fucking
Simon,
Kingpin in the
it's
car.
because
Kingpin.
they
Go ahead,
ignored
Cher.
the previous
I'll let you
show.
finish.
Oh, yeah, sorry. It's because they ignored the previous show, Simon. It's because it wasn't supposed to be a
but then they choose
continuation.
not to. They choose when to and when not to. It's like that was the issue I had. It's like it was being selected. It was like we're a different thing, except for when we're gonna fucking shit on your
Bitches
lore.
be loyal until they don't have to be.
No,
Which
when you
I do
mentioned
feel
Nadim
bad
just
for the
now-
everyone involved.
When you mentioned Nadim just now, I just thought of the fucking episode. I forget which episode it was, but when Kingpin's in the car, and he just goes, "Nadim!" It's the funniest.
That's when we get introduced to Dex. That's when
Bullseye,
the car
yeah,
gets
exactly.
toppled over,
Oh, I love that.
He's about to be assassinated. and first goes Nadim, and then you just hear the gunshots
part of
suddenly
that-
as they stop soaring into his car.
Sidetrack of that scene in season 3, by the way. Sorry, but like again, we're talking about season 3 here, which is like way better in my opinion. But there's a part
Well,
where
that's
like,
unfair.
Bullseye's introduced, and I'm just like, I remember when I was watching that too for the first time. You're
Mhm.
just seeing, you're just like, oh, this guy's really good, and then he starts like taking the gun apart and using it as like a weapon itself, and I'm just like, oh, that's
That
Bullseye.
reveal when you realize who he is, and you're
It's
like,
like, oh,
they're like,
yeah,
they're doing it, and they're not shying away from the comic bookness of him literally being able to throw any fucking thing at you, and you
And
will
he
die.
doesn't miss. He
You will
doesn't
die.
miss.
He could. I have a juice box here. This motherfucker could throw a juice box, and it'll break your neck on impact.
Simon,
You
he'd
will
take
die.
the straw out, use it to blind you, and then he'd throw the fucking juice box at your cranium.
Here,
That's what
you
he
take
did.
the moon and you take the sun.
I was just gonna say, you take the moon.
All right, so we're going towards the end. Let's go towards the end of board again, like the last.
Yeah,
chapter.
we're
Well, no,
the
no,
good stuff
we should touch upon Muse at least, because I think the Muse
was
stuff
gonna
in the
say,
middle
Okay.
is
The
quite
show
good.
kind of goes. It's like 3 separate chunks. It's like the beginning, which is a lot like
Yeah, White
the-
Tiger,
White
Really put
Tiger,
together.
Muse,
Fisk,
Fisk.
and
Yeah, no,
fucking
that's like-
Bullseye.
Because that
Yes.
whole span, it's like the show is kind of trying to do this like house thing, like a procedural, like, oh, what's the case this week? Like I feel like it was trying to do that, which is cool for Daredevil. Like I get it, but like
That's a really
But
good
it's the thing, right?
analogy.
is,
Born
like,
Again
not
feels
for
very CW-ish,
9
you know?
episodes. 9
Yep.
It's a
episodes.
CW show.
Yeah,
Villain
If we
of the
had, like,
week
22
shit is what it feels
episodes-
like.
yeah.
Just
It
I
was
don't
just
know.
and then Muse stuff, man. When Muse was first introduced, I'm like, cool, because he looked cool. His reveal was really sick. Like the murals, him using the blood to paint the murals, very cool. Next episode, he's there. The fight happens. It's cool, and then he's just dead in the next episode. Yeah.
What was the point of wasting all that time making him not he's not like a great
Frankenstein
character.
show.
Dude,
Frankenstein
Simon, he had
show.
an after credit scene in like episode 2 or 3, right? It was like,
Yeah.
threat, dead.
Dead.
And they had that whole arc with White Tiger's daughter, and like he kidnaps her, and he's
That
gonna
goes
drain all the
nowhere.
blood and shit.
That goes nowhere.
It goes fucking nowhere. Hey guys, remember
Dude,
BB,
she's so
Uric?
adamant. She comes back in the later shows, at later episodes. She's like, "Yeah, if you're not going to put the effort to avenge my father, then I will." We never see her again.
No. Cass, then she gets kidnapped by Muse. That's literally her entire arc. Is
No, but
her
like
dad
after
dies,
that, there's a
she gets
scene where
kidnapped,
she's like
and
in
that's
the
it.
office, and she's like, "Hey, Charlie Cox, you're fucking
Charlie Cox,
shit."
star of Daredevil
shit lawyer.
2015.
It's just like I don't know, man. Anyway,
I want to make it
yeah.
clear. I'm saying all these negative things first because we're going to talk about the last few episodes now.
Yep.
I've never seen a show get dragged single-handedly from a 4 out of 10 to a solid 6.5 by how good the last 2 episodes
Yeah.
are. Seriously.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Another thing too.
Alright,
how
This
did
is
you guys
Melee's time to
feel-
shine.
Quick thing too before we get into
Mhm.
this part. This is the last thing I want to touch on. I'm sure we're going to talk about this later too. How do you guys feel about the inclusion of needle drops? I liked it.
some of the tracks were really good.
Some of them were.
I
enjoyed
like
it.
the idea. I think the execution on some of them was great. Like the final episode with the Radiohead needle drop, I think is great. But then
Oh,
some
was
of them
great.
were just gore awful. I think it's the end of episode 2 where Matt
Yeah.
screams
They
with the
had
needle
these
drop.
Screams and it cuts.
It was terrible. Everyone, I've seen loads of people praise it, but no, that shit sucked. We all laughed in cool because it was that bad. Melee loves the show, by the way. I'm pretty sure Melee laughed.
Fucking,
Like, it wasn't good.
The best ones are in the last 2
yeah.
episodes. It's the I can
Yep.
see the lightning flash,
Yeah.
and then the radio.
This has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but these like on the street interviews that they were putting
yeah,
in
The BB
random-
Uric stuff.
was cool.
I like
Very
it.
cool.
I
I
love
like
that
it a
one.
lot.
Some
They were
characters.
scene transitions that gave character to the city of New York, which I feel like we'll play a bigger part in season 2 with Mayor as Fisk, or Fisk as Mayor rather, being very much more prevalent it will seem than it was in this season. And I think setting up New York as its own character, like in like the Raimi Spider-Man movies, for example, I think that's very smart. And I think it's great using BB Urich for that.
We did also just talk about BB Urich and how like we didn't like a lot of these characters. BB Urich is cool. I like her a lot. The best inclusion easily is Michael Gandolfini as Daniel.
Oh, hell yeah.
He's the best new character.
He is so good.
He gets right in. He could have been in the original show. Like that's how good of a character
exactly.
he is.
Yeah.
His scene in the finale was my second favorite scene in the whole fucking finale, man.
Because he's such a fucker. Like he has this.
He's
like
such
this
a little
fucking-
fucker. It's like
King of dick rides.
Yeah,
It's like, God.
maybe we should follow the Senate. Oh,
Hey,
but
Mr.
We've
there's
got
the-
this
aye, there's the
glad-handing
rub.
corporate yes men.
Yeah, JD Vance.
JD Vance, the JD Vance
Oh.
Wilson Fisk. Skate vagina.
Talk about these last 2 episodes, man. Shut the fuck up. Let's talk about these last 2 episodes, man.
Yeah,
Episode
man,
7
man.
of Born Again, I will say, is my favorite episode of the show. I think
Mhm.
episode 7
It's
is
better than
tremendous.
I think it's better than the finale on the whole. I think
It's-
I'd agree with that.
Oh,
You can immediately tell the shift as well. It's the one right before the finales, and you can immediately tell the shift in quality because the show opens with, I think it's Matt and Heather talking, I believe, right, and it's sort of intercut with I think Fisk and Vanessa, and you can immediately tell, right, because one of my problems with the show is any scene with the new characters, like strictly them, would occasionally be pretty shit, just dialogue wise. But in episode 7, even scenes with just purely new characters, you could tell the writing was good because I was invested. I didn't care about these characters before, but I was actually invested in their scenes in episode 7 because the writing was such a drastic improvement. It was
Episode
incredible.
eight.
The
And dude-
lighting, there's vision, pacing. Oh my god!
Well, no,
it's
Vision wasn't
White
in the
Vision.
show. He'll be in White Vision coming
He'll
soon.
be in Vision and he'll be in Wonder Man. Remember that's a
Yeah,
road
I
trip.
get that all
along.
Road trip show
I get
with
that all
Wonder
along.
Man.
Oh, go ahead.
See, what Chair's talking about is episode 8, not episode 7. Episode 7 was where Heather,
idiot.
saved herself.
That was
Yeah,
when Heather
you know.
shoots.
Yeah.
That's when Heather shoots.
Oh,
And-
that's my
And
bad.
she
That's my
blames
bad.
Daredevil.
That's my
And
bad.
Yeah,
episode
become a
8
Republican.
starts with the Blue Rose, and then we see the return of Benjamin Poindexter, where we get the
blue-
reintroduction of his buzzing noises and the blue light filter.
Yeah,
blue-
Personally, I
oh.
love that.
it was cool.
A beautiful
cool.
choice.
It-
A tremendous choice. Genuinely.
It is a fantastic contrast to Matt seeing the world on fire, like we saw in the original show, and
Mhm.
Bullseye's little comment about how he feels like he's drowning in water that he said in season 3 to Julie. It's a perfect contrast. It works so Matt sees fire, he's drowning in blue water. It just works because these two are very similar, but they're also polar opposites in many ways. It's so simple in a way, but it's great.
The show has always had a great thing with color, whether it's matte and red, Poindexter and blue, and Fisk, obviously Rabbit in a Snowstorm, having white be like a very like that like the white contrasting with the red is like a very like
He's
powerful
white.
image with him. He's
Talks
black.
about White.
Yeah, no.
black?
Fuck, dude. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah, man, dude. The second you see Bullseye, it's just like I'm locked back in. Like he, in my opinion, Bullseye is what's the term? The soul almost of what that original series was, in my opinion. Because seeing him in the show, it feels like, okay, cool, we're back. Like I didn't get
In
that with
Foggy's
Matt.
absence, Wilson Bethel, I think, takes up the mantle of fulfilling a lot of the heart
Even
and
with
soul in the
Karen.
show.
Well,
Even
Karen
with
is
Karen,
Karen
which
as
we
well. Now
see-
that she's
That's
back. Now that Karen's
Well, yeah,
back,
even
I
still
think
though, even
she-
still, she doesn't feel like quite like that Karen almost.
Mhm.
Like obviously,
Well,
the
she
same
was
character,
in
but obviously-
one episode, essentially.
I
A
know,
couple scenes
exactly.
in
I'm
episode
sure-
1,
I'm
and then
sure
it's
it'll be
just the
better in the
finale.
next
So.
one.
Speaking of which, Wyatt, every time Karen would come on screen, he would share a very interesting gift from
A gift from
series.
True Blood. of
True
Jeffrey
Blood.
Oh,
doing the,
man.
If somebody in post wants to put that on screen for me, thank you.
What a
Also-
woman.
you.
Can whoever's editing this in post put in the GIF video I made from episode 8 where it's Matt slamming Bullseye's head to the table to the...
Ask my lawyer, he'll deny it. Ask the prison inmates, they'll deny it. They'll cut their tongues.
Also, can I just mention that scene about with Matt and Bullseye in prison is so good. It's just those
It's
two
so
interacting
good.
again properly, like Matt and Dex just talking for the first time. Is it ever? Because I mean, I don't know if they like Matt and Dex, not Bullseye and Daredevil. I think that's
They
in
never had a
those two versions of them
proper-
speak.
This is a phone call. I don't think they had a proper one-on-one.
Or the time they
conversation.
interact, like, you know, when Fisk goes like, "You can get him, grab his gun." Like, outside of that, it's the first time they speak. And it's so good. The way Matt slams his head into the desk, and then he's like, God, he started fucking slamming his own head into the desk. It's brilliant. It shows Matt being
then
a bit
Matt
more
just
vicious
goes,
because
"Fuck you."
Bullseye's pissed him off. He's willing to break his rule, bend it.
I think that was the first moment throughout the whole show where Matt felt like Matt again. Because
Yep.
something that I love about Daredevil, the first few seasons, is that Matt's not a good person. Matt's a shithead.
He's
he
an
treats his
asshole.
friends
Yeah,
badly.
it's great.
He's
I like
very
when
he's
characters are written
manipulative. He's
interestingly,
selfish.
yeah.
That was the only time he actually was like, except you like him because it's him, because it's fucking Bullseye,
Because
and Bullseye's
Charlie Cox.
Yeah, well, real shit.
Oh,
Oh,
What a man.
Charlie
What a
Cox,
woman. What a nice young lady. What a nice
Oh.
young lady he is.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this too. They fixed the Vanessa Kingpin stuff, thankfully, in that episode as well, because I was so not into what the fuck that was. Why are these two at odds? Why is this happening? This makes no fucking sense for these two. Thank God they fixed that. Because that
I
was
like the
bad.
idea. Generally, the problem is you don't see any of it before it happens. You just
You
see
see none of it.
Vanessa has taken over. Fisk gets out of prison, becomes mayor, and then they're just having marital issues. Like, you don't have any sort of build. Like, that would have been interesting if you had a whole season of Fisk in prison. Vanessa takes over the crime organization. Then that was the arc. But they didn't want to do that, clearly. So that's just how it is. Now you're talking about what the show could have been, I guess.
The show took place 5 years after. In real life, it was 5 years later, production-wise. And then in the show, there was a year time skip.
right?
It just sucks, unfortunately.
Vanessa, the whole Benjamin Poindexter fucking. I need you to put a hat on this lawyer. I'm glad that that had a reason. Like, I'm stupid, so I thought Foggy dying was just like a collateral damage kind of thing. That's why I was pissed off when it happened. So I'm glad that they cleared up and said, like, oh no, we were intentionally trying to kill Foggy Nelson. I was like, okay.
I was gonna say, Dex just getting out of prison just to fuck with Matt didn't seem like him.
Also, that scene is really good when fucking she's like, "You're Bullseye. You're one of the most deadliest human beings in this area," and then she fucking like the doctor
Takes the
puts
pills
meds
from
on,
him.
the meds on the table and she takes them away and he's just like kind of
Great.
reaching for
He's
them
like,
and shit.
he's
I'm like,
clawing
oh
for
my
them
God.
because he wants to be
Yep.
better.
And then
He wants
when
to
she
not stop.
because all she has to do is grab his hand, give him some reassurance because she's so manipulative and he is so easily used.
Yep. See, he clings for the North Star. It's a continued motif from the previous show, and I think it does it quite well. It's pretty
The
good.
fact that Matt saves Kingpin after all this time, man.
It's incredible.
He
Which is
hesitated, but he
foreshadowed
did
by
it.
Dex, saying, "You're the hero. You'll save anybody."
I think that's a
It's
beautiful
cinema.
moment
It's such a
because
good
in
moment.
episode 1, however you want to judge it, in that's the story is that Matt lost his way. He lost the grace of God. He didn't feel that he deserves to be Daredevil anymore, but because he admits it, he wanted to kill Bullseye by throwing him off the roof,
Mhm.
shield style. But then the moment of him saving Fisk, even though Fisk is a very horrible person, at least in that moment, Fisk was quote unquote innocent in those matters.
In the eyes of God, I
Yeah,
guess.
in the eyes
Sorry,
of God.
I'm sorry. Shield style.
Double
like,
triple power bomb.
Benjamin Poindexter goes.
Just the Roman Reigns style fucking.
The secret Ulapa!
But like as the director said, like Matt saving Fisk was basically saying that like Matt found the grace of God once more. He felt deserving of being a hero once more, and I think that was
Yes.
beautiful. Even if Fisk was his arch enemy, he found the reason to be a hero again, and that's really beautiful.
It's fantastic.
Real quick with the Punisher in the finale.
Very good stuff.
So say what you want about Cap 4, not a good movie, but Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the dynamic between Bucky and
Very
Sam
good.
was pretty good in that show.
Pretty good.
This is that a little bit better, I think.
I agree. They have so much good. They have
They
such
hate
good
each
chemistry
other.
together. The fact that I actually love too because I saw people complaining like, "Oh, it's just season 2 stuff again." I'm like, I like that they're still at odds because this is that one thing that they never really are gonna agree on. Is like,
Mhm.
Frank, stop killing them. It's just like, man, fuck you.
Yeah, that last scene from that fight when he goes, Man, you ain't never gonna check your reliability.
How about this guy
Oh,
over
this
here?
grenade. Go,
Sam-
go,
yeah.
go.
So good.
I love shit like that.
Dude, that was a genuinely funny. Like other shows would use that for worse comedy. That was a genuine
yeah.
because it was a genuinely tense argument, and then it's the logical conclusion of I'm gonna blow both of you motherfuckers up. It's time to go.
Hey, Red, aim for the bushes. Can you take?
Yes, and there goes my hero.
It's so stupid.
That scene with them in, I think it was episode 4. Is that what it was?
Yeah, I was
that
going
was-
to bring that up.
Oh,
That's
what, the,
fantastic as
Say
well.
his name. Say his
Yeah.
name.
Great scene.
coward.
Great
Listen,
scene. Unfortunately,
Benjamin Linux to get life. Yeah, but fuck yeah, you get life.
Oh, believe in Joe Hendry, man.
the only bad part about that scene is that you can tell when John Berthel turns his head, it's 80 yard after that.
Yeah.
It's like, man, let me tell you something, here. Man, fuck you. Anyway, remember when? That's what he says. It's so weird.
He's like, you remember his name? Remember that plot point that we read later?
Oh, say his name, say his name, say his name. I can't believe you would not say his name, Matthew. I cannot believe it.
But no, great stuff. So,
Okay, can I
Punisher's
talk
great.
about the Fisk scene?
Mhm.
Oh, you want to talk
Of
about the
course.
scene?
You've
Well,
been-
yeah,
you've been
because Frank is
chomping at
getting his
the
ass
bit.
kicked by after he goes onto a bunch of cops. That was amazing.
Yeah,
So no head.
I like that guy as well. The leader of the cops and everything. Was his
The
name?
Oh, he's such an
Punisher.
asshole. I hated him. I wanted to kill him.
Yeah, like, I like that he's an asshole. Like, I'm glad that
Oh,
like,
yeah, it's
they
great.
built him up as like, oh, he's probably gonna get mauled at some
He
point.
deep
I
fried
like
a
that they
reporter's
saved it.
hand, bro.
Yeah, I like that they saved it to the very end, and then what I can only describe as like that. Do you know what I mean?
It's something pretty cool.
Fisk,
Meat of my meat.
Fisk does the Great Khali head squish, but in a diagonal form, rips the Stooge's jaw off and smushes his head like its skin comes
grabs his
off.
scalp.
man.
He pulls his
It's
scalp off.
horrible.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
It was
fun
so,
fact.
like,
So I
it
was
was
a,
so out of nowhere as well. We were like, "Oh my god!"
John.
So I don't know if you guys ever read Garth Ennis's Punisher Max.
No.
Very good, very good.
Mhm.
There's part in there where Kingpin is really pissy at one of his henchmen, and he literally just like does that same thing, squeezes his head until his eyes just pop out like this, and the guy just goes, "Oh fuck," and then goes, "All right, take him out back," and the guy just has his eyes hanging out as they drag him outside to bury him. It's like the most insane thing ever, and I'm like, are they gonna do that here?
I love
Nope.
Kingpin. I love him.
Funniest part about that in the comic, by the way, is that Frank ends up shooting the other guys. The guy with his eyes out puts them back in and just goes, "Oh, I can see again." And the first thing he sees is Frank with a gun, and he goes, "It's incredible."
Yeah, no, the stuff with like the guys that are in the Punisher gear.
With the Warzone
It got
Punisher
better
logo.
Yeah,
in
the
the end.
Warzone guys.
It got better in the
The
end.
emoji.
We
There were
love the
plot points.
Warzone.
Dude, Punisher Warzone
Is
is a
heat.
fun fucking time, dude. That's a fun movie. I don't give
That's
a shit.
awesome.
It's not good, but it's a fun time. You know, I quite enjoyed it.
Ridiculous, complete
Mhm.
nonsense, but it's great.
Again, I think that was good because the finale did a really good job, I think, of cleaning up the mess because there were so many plot points that had been introduced and forgotten about by this point that they just were like, oh yeah, remember that Punisher thing that we brought up like 7 episodes ago and forgot to ever bring up? Here it is, and it's going to be an integral part of the plot.
Mhm.
And the whole war on vigilantes thing as well. Like they kind of talked about that in episode 9 as well. But I don't know. The finale went a long way into saving the whole season for me because I didn't really enjoy it for the most part until that episode and the one before that.
Great stuff with Punisher. I like him getting his fucking ass kicked too, like him just going like, hey Frank, you want to join us? And he goes,
He's
man,
laughing.
fuck you.
And he's fucking laughing, dude.
Yeah.
He's having a
I'm
great
gonna see my
moment.
fucking John Burns. He's like,
Come in, they're in the woods.
fuck you, God. Fuck off.
Oh god. Man, I'll tell you
Quick question.
something, man.
Do we know for that Punisher special presentation thing, do we know if it's the Daredevil Born Again guys making that or is it somebody else making that?
It probably
John
will be,
Berthel's
right?
writing it.
John Berthel's writing it?
Writing it?
He's
Yeah.
writing it. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
writing it. Yeah.
Okay.
That
So
gives me hope.
there's no lore, and it's 50 minutes of death.
I hope that's what it is. I hope that's
Yeah!
what it
It
is.
should be. It should be.
Look,
No
I'm sorry, man.
dialogue.
You know, look, this
Yeah.
has been my complaint with the Punisher as of late. They keep trying to make him like this grand, like this deep, like he is deep, but like the Punisher series is the biggest example of this. It's just like most of the time he's just a fucking maniac. Just let him be a fucking maniac. All right. He's not doing all this like human stuff. He's not doing all this shit. He's not trying to save like some woman that he kind of likes or whatever, because that's what they did in the show, and it was just really dumb. And I hope we get that in this one. I hope we get like a real like raw, just no story, just have him mow down a bunch of dudes.
I also think it helps that like I feel like we got the most of what we need out of a serious Frank in season 2. Like I don't think we're ever getting any better than when he's talking to Matt about his kid, about the
at the graveyard.
The rhyme. The rhyme. I can't remember it.
One batch, two batch, penny and dime.
One batch, two batch, nickel and dime. You're never ever getting better. That's one of the best scenes in superhero media, like ever, in my honest opinion. So it's just like at this point, the whole arc is these people are using his symbol as the wrong name, and he's gonna fucking kill them for it because they're using his name. Not because if they're using his symbol for bad, it's because he doesn't fucking like them and they are killing people. So he's going to kill them first. It's that simple. You don't need to go too crazy.
Just end that whole discourse now, by the way, because of this. I'm just like, all right, cool, we got that out of the way. Can we just get to Punisher stuff now, please?
Yep.
Because I feel like the whole like I feel like that whole storyline was just like it's one of those just like online things where it's just like, guys, they need to address this. I'm just like, all right, I guess.
Another thing,
I thought it was fine. I like that, but again, it's very like there's
now
no fun stories, guys.
We have Karen back now. Which is lovely.
They mentioned the Frank and Karen stuff, which I did not expect at all.
So how much of that do you think is going to be? Do you want that? Like I there are many things I think that they can do very well in season 2. I cannot express to you how little I want to see a Frank, Matt, Karen love triangle. I find that so uninteresting.
How many have watched the Punisher series here?
No,
nope.
Just me.
I've only seen a little bit of season 1. I did not finish it just because I couldn't get the time. Unfortunately,
Karen is a massive part of season 1. She is like a series regular in season 1, and their relationship is great because, again, it's all tension. They don't actually do anything together. They don't kiss. They don't share any tenderness, but it's just very subtle, and that's what I loved about their whole dynamic, and especially with how the last season of Punisher is also the last time we ever see Karen, and I highly recommend just watching that one scene with them too. Because it's very clear that Karen does want Frank. Not necessarily wants him, but just wants him to just stop doing this life. Yes. And Frank just says that's never going to happen. And that's pretty much where they just go their separate ways. And I love that. Now she's back in the picture with Frank and with Matt. I hope we don't get that triangle thing because I think that'd be stupid.
Yeah.
But
I do think it somewhat cheapens the Frank Karen dynamic to have them be romantically involved. I don't think that's what they're supposed to be. I think they like each other, but not like that. Like I weirdly compare it to like husband and wife in a way, but like also not romantic. If that makes any sense. Like they're attracted to each other, but not like that.
I get what you mean. It's like almost like a divorced couple in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Because she knows about his past with the family and what happened to them, and she's very sympathetic like that.
Frank has always been adamant too, especially in the series, about like how he thinks that she belongs with Matt at the end of the day, which is like I agree. Yeah.
Yes,
I agree.
I agree.
I'm curious how much they're going to lean into it because they obviously in season 2 and a bit of season 3 they lean into the Matt Karen romantic dynamic, obviously, but they didn't really address most of that by the end of the 3rd season. So I don't know if are they going to revisit that. I mean, I've always fucking shipped Foggy together, but that's not gonna fucking happen now. So why should I? Unless
I loved when Karen and Matt, anytime they shared screen time together, it was just raw sex every time.
The scene when the water
they'd be doing nothing. They'd be doing nothing together.
Yeah. Oh, the date scene in season 2, just all of that. Shit. Oh,
it's beautiful.
And Matt says goodbye, Miss Page. It's like, oh, hell yeah.
Go
Yeah,
back,
Matt can
Cherry.
have
No, we
me.
ain't getting that in we ain't getting that in this show, man.
I like you.
Anything else specific, or should we just give a synopsis?
Well, we should talk
final
about the
wrap-up?
ending. I think we should talk about the ending. Yeah, the proper
Yeah,
ending.
that's
The
Radiohead.
gathering.
Thank you.
I'm building a team.
Cherry.
You have Cherry on the team. You're fucked, Matt. You're going to die. You have
Josie
Cherry
was
on the
there.
team.
What's Josie gonna do? What's Josie gonna fucking do? I'm sorry, but like, come
Serve
on.
drinks.
Also, I like how there's like 2 cops. That's it. That's all.
We are New York.
Those cops. New
It's
York's
2 cops,
finest.
his 2 lawyer friends, Karen and Josie, and that's
Where's Luke
literally.
Cage?
That's what I was gonna say.
Defend
As
Marvel's
much of a
defenders
club
from
shitto-
gay sex.
as-
Pick up the
As
phone.
much of a
No,
club
don't
shitto as it
start
would have
this.
been.
No,
No,
you sound like
seriously,
Soups.
I don't
You
care.
sound like
No,
Soups.
no,
Shut up.
no.
No,
This
this
isn't-
is Daredevil. This is not Defenders. We don't
No.
need
Reminder:
Cage.
Simon
That's
hasn't
the
seen
problem.
Defenders.
We don't
Pat,
need
this is-
Simon hasn't seen
listen, no.
No.
Shut up! Listen,
No.
this is the problem.
No.
Pat, they built
No.
a world where there are
No.
multiple superheroes
No.
occupying New York. So to have New York go under fucking martial law and none of them are reacting except for Daredevil himself is a plot hole. I'm not saying I
Spider-Man's just trying
want
to
it.
pay his rent, okay?
Yeah, where's Spider-Man at, bro?
He's just taking pictures,
That is
okay?
true.
He's
Hey,
he's
Pat,
making
how's
rent.
He's the
episode?
biggest
How you
defender. What are you doing, Peter? Peter, what are you doing?
Uh,
What are you doing right now?
he's-
It's so
He's
fucking
talking to
important.
Sony. He's talking to Sony about
By the way,
please let me on the
keep in
TV
mind,
show,
folks-
please, please.
Keep in mind, folks. Thunderbolts happens in exactly like what 2 weeks in this canon now.
Is that how it works?
That's in New
He
York.
gets-
The Void is gonna show up and fuck
God,
everybody up.
I hate the MCU. I'm sorry. One thing I loved about the Netflix shows was their loose connectivity to it. Like they'd mention events, but they weren't really too tied to it because they couldn't
It was
be.
like comics.
They weren't fully
Right.
allowed, and I loved it. Yeah. But now it's like very glop shitter
It's
stuff.
a plot
and
hole
it's
now because
to a
it stuff
detriment.
doesn't even
Yeah.
though I am always going to be in favor of more individual stories unless it is a straight up team up movie like an Avengers thing. The problem that we have now is that they've established a universe where so many superheroes occupy that same space. So when shit happens that affects their space of living and they don't appear once to try and stop it, it makes the characters look fucking stupid. It makes Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist, and I guess is Moon Knight in New York? I don't even know. I never
I don't know.
watched it.
Here's the thing, right?
no,
Why
dude,
doesn't
Moon Knight's
why doesn't that
fucking
pedophile
UK.
Matt helped in the bank like call his daughter that he fucking references 5 times in the episode?
Hey,
Hey,
Kamala,
did you
what is
know
your
about
birthday?
Miss Marvel?
Alright,
Miss
man,
Marvel.
look.
One more thing.
Look, man, we didn't.
Moon Knight isn't even a street level character in the MCU. He's a fucking intergalactic cosmic nonsense.
That is true, actually. So maybe not him, but like the Defenders, I think you can get away with using that. And then Jessica Jones is supposed to be in season 2. Didn't they say? Didn't they say Jessica Jones is in season 2?
Simon,
rumor.
you saw an April Fool's post that said Chris Romero's been spotted on the set. That's an April Fool's post they do every year. You fell for it.
Dude,
Oh, I
Brendan
didn't know.
Fraser's rushed the set and injured 4 people.
Guys,
No.
Kevin Nash got stabbed on the. Yo, can we bring Kevin Nash in for the Punisher special presentation just so John Bernthal can stab him by accident,
shit.
please? Can we do it, please?
That'd be cool.
21 year fucking anniversary.
Play the Kevin
can't
Nash
believe
My
Kevin
Sacrifice
Nash-
video.
I can't believe Kevin Nash got stabbed on the set of Punisher Born Again Gay Sex.
Mhm.
Can't believe
Yeah,
that.
no. Final thoughts.
I'm excited for season 2. I think it will be a lot better. I hope.
Mhm.
I think now
I
we
think
have
so.
these two. I forget their names, but they did Loki, and Loki is very good.
Loki's excellent.
And I also
Love
got some of
Loki.
the team from Punisher on board, so it's like okay, maybe we got a little bit of old and new here.
The biggest thing that I want them to fix, even the good parts of Born Again season 1, even though they were very late. The problem I have with the show, I think I talked to Wyatt about this, is that even the good parts of the show just kind of feel like stuff from seasons 1 and 3, but done slightly worse. Like the
Yeah,
whole
it's like
debate about
we were-
justice, about
The
Fisk
problem
getting
was we
caught. about-
saw such shit TV for like the past for a bunch of weeks, and we finally got these two, and we're like, oh, that was amazing. But it's like it's only amazing because we just saw some terrible fucking TV beforehand.
mediocre, sloppy,
Mediocre, yeah.
samey,
Yeah.
gray TV, right?
But
the
hopefully
point
now
I'm
that they
making is
have
that-
some free reigns, they can
Yes.
do something else.
Because like you watch the there was that line in episode 9 where he's like, it doesn't matter what we do, we exonerate White Tiger and he gets shot one day later. It's very similar to the plot point of how they arrest Fisk, but he just kind of like gets out like it's nothing in season 1. You know, like when he gets caught at one point. It's like my biggest thing is you got to find new territory to delve with Daredevil as a character. I know that a lot of it's been covered by this point, but I still think you need to find new ways to fulfill the imagery, whether it be through the religious aspect of it, the justice and the legal aspect of it, the superhero aspect of it, the comic bookiness. I think there are ways to do it. That other than the fact that I think the first 8 episodes feel very superfless. I think the fact is the good stuff still feels like it borrows too much from the original show, and I think
This motherfucker said superfluous.
I listen, brother.
Spell the word.
S U
Say the words.
E R F L U O U S.
Boom.
E.
Fucking
Share. What do you think?
I was very much like Simon at the end of episode 1 of Born Again. I was very dooming. The entire show, because of episode 1, because of how bad it was, I was writing notes mid-episodes. That's how bad the show was. I was writing
I remember
notes,
that.
and
Like
the dislikes were like an entire page, and the likes were like 2 bullet points. By the end of the show, I have like minimal dislikes and a lot of likes. Episode 7, or episode 8 rather, I forgot to write notes. I was that fucking locked in. That's how good that episode was. I think the show has done a pretty decent turnaround, and I'm excited for season 2 because it seemed like it's going to be more episode 8 and 9 than say like 1 and 2, which is
Hopefully.
for the best.
God help us.
Hopefully,
God help
hopefully.
us if it goes back to 1 and 2 quality. 'cause
It's a
Jesus
very good
Christ.
point because I was scared at first, and then there's shit that's happening in the show that is very memorable, like the fist kill. The dynamic between Punisher and him is way better. Just hoping the characters can stay as good as they have been in these last few episodes. Apart from that, yeah, it's quite forgettable. We'll see.
Reality
We'll
is
see if they can hold it together.
Can
with season 2, 'cause
Can I interject for a second? I think
What?
I was going to talk about the Fisk kill for a second because I think it's quite cool how they do it in a sense. Just to compare it to the car door kill, if you remember that. Because remember, season 1, they build up Fisk. There's like that whole episode where the guy won't say his name and then he says it, he impales himself. They set up Fisk as like a big entity, and then you see him slam the guy's head with the car door. That's setting him up. We know Fisk is now. We know who he is, and then we see him crush a guy's head just to remind you and show that this Fisk is stronger. He didn't need a car door this time. He is more powerful than ever because he's the mayor. He's under martial law, and he crushed the fucking police commissioner's head in with his bare hands. I think that's a great little contrast to sort of Fisk's state of relevance in the world and
That's
his
an
position of
aspect.
power.
The violence is seriously. I was worried that the violence would feel like too over the top. That is something that makes it stand out from Daredevil in a good way. The original show is the fact that it's way more pulpy and more bloody and more gory with the violence. Even
And
if
it's
it goes
also
to
in service of the story sometimes.
Yes,
Not all the time,
I totally
but a
agree.
lot of the time it does. So
Yes,
that's quite good.
I totally agree. How about you, Melee?
I think I've said this before on Twitter. I'm never gonna call it X.
X the
that-
everything app.
Yes, season 3. Even with the Netflix showrunners, I don't think they would. I don't think anyone would ever replicate the quality that was season 3 of Daredevil, even by those showrunners.
That's fair.
So that's for me. That's the apex. So it's never gonna be topped. I am aware that this is the Disney Plus product. It's not going to be the same quality as the Netflix show. It's going to be paced differently. It's going to be different, but I very much enjoyed it. Even the original like episodes, the ones that they filmed before the overhaul, there were some enjoyable moments, and you could probably see what they were trying to cook, even if there was no seasoning in it. But with episode 8 and 9, you know that they're trying to honor the Netflix show, but they're sort of trying to do their own thing. And I think that's very beautiful. So I have faith with season 2. Unfortunately, it's going to be 8 episodes instead of 9. I don't know why they did that, but that's how it's going to be. It's going to release next year
that
in
real?
March. Yeah, it's 8 episodes.
Wait, is it
So-
8?
Yeah, it's 8 episodes. But it's next year in March. When I guess it's probably hard to film like 9 and 10 episodes.
They
every
did
year.
say it'll be every year, which is
Yeah,
good.
if it's gonna be yearly, then it's that's a compromise. Especially if
take
it's
that,
that
yeah.
quality, I'll take it.
Yes.
It's
yeah.
not 6. I'll take that.
hmm Hopefully, it's at least like 45 minutes plus. At least has to be at least that. I
No more
cannot take
half hour.
no more limited series
think-
presentations.
Yeah, I think the consensus is this first series in the collective. I think we'll give it like a solid 6, low 7.
Hmm.
Like
Almost
it's
6.5.
It's a
6.5
5.
is a good one.
It's a 5 out of
No,
10.
it's not a 5. Don't start that.
The last episodes are quite good, and there's a decent chunks throughout. But
There was
the
a lot of good
entire
stuff
show,
with the
we're talking
show.
the entire show. But
I think
can't really
the early
depend. I
chapters
think
aren't that
6 is a
good.
fair. It's fair.
This is such a weird show to rate, though, because it is such. It's a
Two
roller
shows.
coaster of quality.
It's two different shows
Hmm.
combined into
Yeah.
one, and kind of haphazardly rushed into being a different thing by the end.
Yeah.
When it really
So it's so
wasn't
weird
supposed
to compare.
be. I will say season 2, they have my attention. They have at least earned back my trust, but it can't be this again.
Nope,
Whether
not one.
if it's more mediocrity for 6 episodes and then 2 good episodes again, then I'm not watching. I'm not investing my time at that point. So
Mhm.
that's my only big point I'm gonna make.
Holy shit, guys! Breaking news! Look at these new Fantastic Four costumes. Holy shit, those are amazing, guys! Wow! Oh my!
I'm gonna pull out my
Holy!
Johnson.
Shut
for
up!
this.
Oh my!
Oh,
Whoa!
I saw your belly button. I
Doesn't
want to
fit the
thank
screen.
Chair and Melee for coming on to talk about
I'm
this.
sorry I
Yes,
talked
thank
over
to
you
our DEI
guys.
hires for the day. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Might be the last time
Oh.
before I'm deported.
Yay!
Oh, I'm sorry to hear
Speaking of
that.
which, let me get that ice hotline right
The
here.
sacred
ready.
Father, we're gonna give it to Melee Hellbot.
Acknowledge.
Get
Alright,
him
well,
back. I'm going to deport us back.
Melee, where can people find you? And what podcasts do you often appear on? Would you like to promote right now?
You can find me at the Street Chain Whack podcast.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd say that.
I've never heard you say it before. That's so weird.
Sweet
podcast. Yeah, man. Sweet Chinwag are our boys. We've had Sam on.
We
a
love
lot.
Sweet Chinwag, by the way.
Yeah,
you
we
can
love
find
them a lot.
Melee in El Salvador. No.
Yeah.
You can find
Also, went to
Chair in
Jamaica
a
and
hamper
Peru.
outside of a church on a Sunday morning.
You can find Chair at YDR.
Give me the keys, lads.
You're
If you
right.
ever
My
spin,
chair
I'll
at
do.
Wrestle Purists.
New merch. Go buy it.
YDR.
Go buy
Hey
the
guys, I
merch.
was on Sweet Chinwag. Fun fact. My
Yeah.
episode.
We all
when
were.
you were sick as fuck and
We've
cooked,
all
you
been
barely
on
talked.
Sweet
I
Chinwag.
still did it. I explained the entire history of Michael Tarver. So if you guys want to go back and watch that episode, it's like 4 months old at this point. But
Look,
hey.
get the merch, support us on Patreon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
When I was
Hello. I'm a fan of Daredevil, and I live
Give
in
me the
East
keys,
Grinstead.
lads. I need to go for a.
every day.
Keep going.
Son of a box.
The sacred Ulafala wrapped around my
It'll cost more than $6 in postage.
Wait, I gotta end the pod. I gotta end the pod shield.
The night one main event of WrestleMania.
Why? I've got to end the pod shield style.
It's a double, triple Pookie Bomb.